Welcome back. You are now in session 3. Network your way to an abundant business even if you're terrified of networking. Hi, I'm Kate Steinbacher, and I'm so glad that you're back with me again. This is our third session of 3. By the end of this session, you will know everything you need to know to be a professional networker. You will have built everything you need, and you'll know what to say, you'll know how to say it, and who to say it to so that you can build your business through networking. I'm so glad you're here. So, in the 3-part series so far, we've learned lots of things. Completed part 1, so congratulations. You learned about why networking is the best way to build your business. You learned about how you can make networking fun and profitable fast. And we discussed all of the results that you can expect. And it isn't just about clients. In part 2, congratulations again. This was probably a bit of a tougher part because in part 2, you learned about elevator pitch mistakes that keep you hating networking, and you learned the 6 elements required to craft an effective connection conversation. And hopefully you've already created the rough draft of yours. Congratulations. Now, part 3. We are going to put it all together for you. How to make it all work. First, we'll talk about the 3 blunders most people make when they're networking, and of course, how to avoid them. Then we'll discuss proactively preparing for your networking event. Being prepared makes all the difference and makes you feel so professional. Finally, we'll talk about automating your follow-up. And when you automate follow-up, it gets results. And it's so much easier than if you were trying to make it happen and forcing it to happen. Let me just take a couple of minutes to recap session 2. First, we talked about the magic of networking. We talked about staying connected, having one-on-one conversations between sessions to get to know each other. You want to get to know all of the people in your networking group. You want to learn how to be the best referral partner for them. And we learned about it's a two-way street. We want to be giving and receiving. And we learned to ask for what we want, clearly and understandably. Finally, we also learned about the elevator pitch mistakes that keep you hating networking. Oh my gosh. We discovered also the 6 elements required to craft an effective connection conversation. And those 6, let's take a look at them. Who you serve, what's their pain or challenge, what service you provide, the results they get, and the evidence, the testimonial. So in our last session, you would have created your entire draft of your effective connection conversation. Congratulations, that's a great start. Yes, the actions that you should have taken, creating that session, go back to listen to 1 if you haven't done that before, and creating your new session by answering the questions from the 6-part connection conversation and really beginning to practice it. It's important once you write it out, you really want to practice, because that's when you'll begin to really put your passion into it, make people understand who it is you work with and how you like to work with them. Okay. Hopefully you've gotten all that done, and if not, you'll go back and do it. In the meantime, let's dive into today's material. We're going to start with the 3 blunders people make while networking. There's an art to everything we do, and there's best practices. We're going to look at some of the things not to do first, and of course, we'll share what to do instead. So what's one of the first things that you want to make sure you don't do? Or that you do. So the number 1 blunder most people make while networking is they don't show up. Either you don't show up or you're inconsistent in showing up. If your group meets 4 times a month, like a regular BNI group, or once a month, like a chamber event, you have to show up. You have to be in it to win it, just like the New York Lottery says. Thinking of going doesn't count. I wanted to go but got busy does not count. If you're going to be a networker, you have to show up, be counted, and meet people. Learn about them and their needs, and remember the give and take. You want to educate them on who you are, what you do, and how you help people. If you don't show up just for a networking meeting, how can they depend on you to show up for the clients they refer to you? Don't let your brand new shiny connection conversation gather dust on the shelf. Use it. Every time you connect with a person is another opportunity to help or be helped. Okay, blunder number 2. The second mistake that people make is the card. Here's my card. Oh my gosh, they are beautiful. Just what you always dreamed they would be. They're crisp, clean, professional. You're so excited because you just got them back from the printer. You know for sure that having this card must mean I'm a real business owner. Well, it does help. We go to the first networking event and we give out as many as possible. People are impressed. We think, wow, I really rocked that. gave out 10 cards today. I better get home quickly. They'll be calling me soon. Not. The very first tip that I want to share with you is the biggest of the entire series. If you get nothing else from today, please get this one. Never give out a business card unless you get one in return. I'm going to say that again because it's that important. Never give out a business card unless you get one in return. You see, giving out a business card without getting one in return is like putting your entire marketing machine in the hands of a total stranger. Would you give your kid to a stranger to raise? I don't think so. Well, your business is sort of like your child. You have to take responsibility to raise it yourself, or it will never happen. Okay, business cards are so important and so misused that I'm going to give you a couple of tips before we move on to the third blunder. So let me talk a little bit about the card for a moment. Card tip number 1, be prepared. As a professional networker, you are prepared. What if they don't have a card to share? Well, you are prepared. You can write down their information or in a notebook or even on the back of one of your cards. I usually carry a small notepad that fits in my purse. Guys can stash one in a pocket. Once you've written down all of their info, of course, you want to get the name, their business, their website, their phone number, and their email. Well, great. Then you can give them one of your cards. Card tip number 1, be prepared. Card tip number 2, get permission. During your connection conversation with your new contact, be sure to ask their permission to put them into your follow-up system and send them your free gift. This way, you can enter them into your system when you return to your office and get started in follow-up right away. No lag time, no concern about spamming. You've gotten verbal permission. Now, of course, anytime you send anything out, you have to make sure that there is the ability for them to unsubscribe if they choose to. But at least you've gotten verbal permission. So congratulations. Card tip number 3, seal the deal. Okay, once your conversation is complete, seal the deal with a handshake and then immediately put a note on the back of their card. The date you met them, what event you met at, and a short note on what you discussed. Now you're ready for the follow-up sequence. Who would think a little card could have so much power? It surely does. Okay, let's go back to the third blunder that most people make while networking. The third mistake most people make is little or no follow-up. This was my nemesis. I was an amazing networker. I was a member in 2 groups that met weekly, and the chamber as well. I had one-on-one meetings like nobody's business, but I rarely followed up more than once. And from a big event, I rarely followed up at all. I didn't know then about business cards and notes and all those things. I thought just meeting scintillating me would make them call me. And a few did, but very few. Follow-up is a very touchy subject for many of us. I know that. We're afraid of being pushy or annoying or overbearing. We don't want to chase folks away. When the truth is, if we do not at least give them the opportunity to decide if what we have is for them, we're kind of playing God. We've decided that just because they didn't call us back in 30 minutes, they decided not to call. They're not interested. When actually, they just got busy. Their life gets crazy. Rarely does any human being make a decision that quickly. By not following up, we're leaving the decision-making in their hands. If we're following up properly, we are offering them valuable knowledge and insights. I like to call it proposals to consider. All right, let's consider this mindset shift. Let's go from pressure and pushy to prompting and proposing. That kind of sounds good, doesn't it? You know, using a business card and learning how to follow up is amazing. I want to tell you a story. My mom is a consummate entrepreneur, as am I. Obviously, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. She is a fabulous saleswoman, fabulous networker. She used to work for a radio station and sell time on the radio. She would literally create the ads sometimes and block the air time, etc. So she had a territory, and she would drive around and contact all kinds of local business people and leave her card and get back to them, etc., etc. And there was a one business that she so wanted to work with. She knew it would be a good, solid moneymaker, and she really believed she could help these people. So she would stop in. It was a car dealership, and try to talk to the manager and the owner. Well, the first couple of times she went, he wouldn't see her. Then he eventually did come by and see her because she'd been leaving her business cards and following up with a phone call. And he said, I'm really not interested. I don't do radio. I don't think it's valuable. And my mom said, well, I would love to be able to have a conversation with you because I believe I can really help you. And this is why. And so she'd give him a little bit of information and leave her card. And he'd say, no, I'm not interested. So about the 10th time she got there, she went and saw this gentleman. And she was doing her conversation and really talking about, what she could propose for him and how she could support his business and its growth. And finally, the guy looked at her and said, Alice, do you have a business card? And she said, well, yes. And she was so excited. And she handed him a card. And he took the card and he held it up. And he pulled out his lighter and he burnt it in front of her. Can you imagine how rude? Well, my mom, being the consummate entrepreneur that she is and the great networker she is, said, oh, I guess you're not in a very good mood today. I'll be back next month and we'll chat again. Bye now. And off she went. My mom is an amazing lady. What I want you to know is that she actually did eventually get this gentleman to work with her. And not only did she help him grow his business, but she made a tremendous amount of money on that particular contact. And she won an Obie Award, which is an award that you can get in the advertising world for a billboard that she created for him. The line on it was, love him and lease them. And he made tons of money selling, leasing cars through that process, and they became best of friends. She kept prompting and proposing. She didn't listen to his negativity. She just kept believing in her wonderful Pollyanna way that this could work. And eventually it did. And she also knows that you never take anything personally. Okay, I'm going to share some numbers with you about networking and follow up. On my next slide, you're going to see the amazing numbers that can change your entire business. And networking and follow up can create all of this for you. Okay, when you follow up well, like my mom did, prompting, proposing, it has a huge impact. Now, most entrepreneurs follow this process, kind of like I was. 48% never follow up. 25% stop after 2 touches. 12% stop after 3 touches. And it's kind of how I was doing it. Either no follow-up, or sometimes I'd make 1 touch. Rarely did I make 2 touches, and I don't think I ever got to the 4th try. When a prospect converts to a client, how many touches do you think it takes to convert? Let's take a look. 2% convert on the first follow-up contact. Very few. That's kind of what I was experiencing. 3% convert on the second contact. A little better. 5% convert on the third contact. 10% convert on the 4th contact. You know, the reason I was able to fill my practice with 30 clients in 18 months was because I was networking my butt off, but I wasn't following up. Just think, if I had only followed up 5 times with each person I met, I could have worked 50% less hard and had a full practice in 6 months. Because 90% give up after the 4th try, like me, and 80% convert on the 5th contact. It's huge. It's an amazing impact. 5 contacts often creates 80% conversion. Now, I get it, and some of you might be thinking, yes, Kate, but follow-up takes a lot of time. Well, my answer to you is this: not the way we teach it at Coach's Console. I'll share you a little bit about that in a couple more slides. Hang out with me, and we'll talk a little bit more and get clearer on what it takes to follow up and automate your follow-up. But don't forget, if you stop after the 4th try, you're like the average entrepreneur, and I was. You're working way too hard. At least make 5 tries, 5 touches. Great. Okay, now there are 2 sides to follow-up. In order to have the most efficient and effective follow-up, it actually starts with your preparation before the conference or network meeting or speaking engagement, whatever it might be. You have to be prepared for following up to make it easy and automatic. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is to be reactive instead of proactive. When you're reactive, it's easy to let things go and only do what's necessary. Believe me, I know. Instead of what's important. Having a follow-up sequence that is inviting, easy, and effective, it takes planning, that's for sure, and it takes preparation. But then once it's done, it's easy breezy. It's good for you, your prospects, and it's impressive. When you're prepared, you also save valuable time. You work less and accomplish more. That's what Melinda and I work for, strive for, and help our clients to reach as well. So we want to be proactive and be prepared to perform. You want to be prepared with your 6-part connection conversation we learned in our last session. Knowing what to say Each step of the way makes a huge difference for everyone. That 6-part conversation can help you get connected and get clear and help other people understand who you work with, how you help them, the results they get, and even can give them some testimonials about results that you've had specific clients receive. You also want to have your free gift prepared. Now, the free gift is something that each coach, speaker, author should have right on the front of their website. The concept of a free gift is that, of course, we each want to build our own mailing list. A mailing list is like gold and should be treated that way. The way you use a free gift is that, if I'm going to give you my name and email address, I would like to receive something in return. And the concept of a newsletter is good, but a free gift has become much more valuable, especially when you create a free gift that truly speaks to your ideal clients. Now, when you are totally ready to offer that free gift, it's going to include the top 3 pain points of your client and the solutions to those pain points. So for me, since I work with coaches to help them build their business, I would say something like the title would be 3 Tips to Getting Clients Fast. Ooh, if I'm a new coach or one that's been around a while, but it isn't moving as fast as I'd like to, bink, I'd put in my name and email address because I'd really like to learn those 3 tips. So people could then sign up for my free gift in exchange for their name and email address. That puts them on my mailing list for later connections. Now, your free gift should ideally have at least how many autoresponders? 5. We want to make 5 touches, right? Because that's when 80% of people make a decision to work with you. Now, that doesn't guarantee that 80% of the people will, but it's kind of a rule of thumb. Those numbers, etc., that I had spoken to you about in the slide previous came from a Harvard review. So I figure those folks know what they're talking about. So the way it works, you want to set things up so the first autoresponder set goes out immediately, and then the others follow over the next 2 weeks. Whenever possible, you want to have a way for people to sign up for your free gift on the spot. So how do you do that? Well, you'll want to create a special opt-in page for this special group for just this event or meeting, so you can communicate with them later. So if I'm going to a networking meeting, I might create a special opt-in page just for them that says, hey, try my free gift. I'd love you to get to know how I work with my people and the kinds of support that I give them. And for them to read that free gift, they might not need it for themselves, but it gives them education about who I am and who they might want to refer to me down the road. But I'll change the autoresponders to talk to about, let's say, well, it was great to meet you at our networking event last Friday, and I wanted you to have your free gift. Here it is. Take a look at it, see what you think, and think about who in your world might benefit from getting this free gift as well. Now, on that page for your opt-in, of course, you're going to have the bullets of the value of the gift and benefits for the person signing up. And then the next piece of information they'll get is a thank you page. So right after they sign up, they get a thank you page, tells them the value of the gift. And then the first autoresponder will deliver the gift, and the 4 that follow that will reinforce that gift and give further value, and also have a link and an invitation for them to sign up for a free consultation with you. It's a series that supports You, as the coach, because it's set up, organized, and ready to go. It supports those that sign up with you, that become clients and members of your list, because they get automatic information, valuable information. They get an opportunity to sign up for a free consultation with you, which is a great next step in a sales funnel. And it can be really easy to automate these steps. Let me show you a little bit about it. Okay, I get it. I just shared a whole lot of information with you, and you're probably saying, Kate, how can I create all of that? What do I say in 5 autoresponders? I don't even know what to say in the first autoresponder. Well, I get it. I'm going to share with you an easy way to streamline all of these tasks. And of course, it happens when you have one integrated platform like the Coach's Console. Of course, I'm biased. I'm one of the founders of the Coach's Console, and it works. So bear with me. I'll give you a quick peek at how it can work for you. You don't have to use it, but I'll give you a quick peek. You can certainly piecemeal any technologies together, but here's our easy breezy way to make it all happen. Then, once I give you a quick demo, just a few minutes, then I'm going to review the 5 most effective autoresponders so you literally can create your own. We'll give you an outline for each one, what you should say, how you should say it, and the exact wording that you should use. All right, let's go take a look at Coach's Console. While I'm bringing up the console to talk to you, I want to just make you aware that, one of the reasons why follow-up has a tendency to be difficult is not because it is difficult. It's usually just because we don't know what to do. We don't understand the value of automation and systems. I know I didn't. I thought I had to make phone calls every day and I had to write letters and all of this stuff. Well, now with the technology we have out there, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's simple. It almost does it for you. Okay, what you're seeing right now is inside the coach's side of the Coach's Console. We're looking at the opt-in autoresponder information. So what I told you was that one of the things we want to do is create a free gift that has at least five autoresponders attached to it. The first one to give the free gift, okay? We can take a look at what it looks like. Of course, it would be branded with whatever your branding is, your logo, etc. And it would be directly to their name. Their first name would come up there. And you would have links to download the copy of the information. So in your first autoresponder, you want to give them the information they signed up for. And you tell them, like I said, 3 or 5 tips about what they're going to learn in this free gift. And then you can talk about what some of the problems are that other people have. And then, again, give them the opportunity. Just say, thanks for signing up. So great. That's number 1. Then you have 3 days later, you create another one. And it's so easy in Coach's Console. If you want to add a message, all you do is click on the button and create the subject line. And add in your details. If you wanted your autoresponder to speak directly to the individual and say, Dear Kate, then it would be one of these replacement tags that you put in. Oops. I'm not good at that. Oops. Cancel. So you would put in a replacement tag and put a comma in and then type in whatever you might like there. Click save and it's done. That's how easy it is with the Coach's Console to add in your autoresponders. Very simple. Okay. And again, we've got at least 5, and we want to talk to them about the free gift, about working with us, and give them an opportunity to connect with us. So the first step in Coach's Console is to create your autoresponders. And then what you'd want to do is put something on the front of your website. Of course, you would want to have an opt-in box so that they could give you their name, their email address. And so you would take a look at setting up your opt-in box. So you might say it's your free report, 3 massive mistakes small business owners make. I might say 3 tips to get clients fast, or whatever it might be. It might be 3 tips to find your true love, the most amazing person to date in the world. Whatever it might be, whatever your ideal client is, you would want to create that free report, free gift that speaks to the top 3 to 5 pains or challenges that are keeping them up at night. You'd place that on your website. And here's a website. Obviously, it's all set up. It's Coaching Advantage. And here is that simple form. And what we did is we created that form in Coach's Console. And once a person puts in their name, their email, and of course we use a CAPTCHA form so that we don't get non-human people signing up for your stuff and getting involved in your business. As soon as the person's hit subscribe, those first autoresponder goes out, and it gives them information about exactly what they said, you promised you would give them. So it's very simple. Let's look at another way of doing it, okay? So here's another website, the Coaching Advantage. And here again is that opt-in form. Simple, easy breezy to create in the Coach's Console and paste it onto your website so that all of the names go back into your Coach's Console. And when they put in their name and their email address, they become a client in your list. They originally come out as a prospect, and from there they would get all of your autoresponders according to the days that you set it up for. Easy breezy. So having a system, an integrated system like the Coach's Console in place to set up your autoresponders, to create your opt-in, gives you the ability to set everything up ahead of time. I can create a custom opt-in form anytime I go to a networking event. When I do, the clients that sign into that, or my prospects at that point, they go into a group in my system within my client area that's dedicated to that particular opt-in, and they become a prospect, someone that I communicate with on a regular basis. So that's how we handle it in Coach's Console. One system, easy breezy, way to go. All right, let's go back. I promised you that I would show you how to create those 5 autoresponders, because I know that can be pretty overwhelming, and it's not all that difficult, okay? So you've seen how we can do it quickly and easily. Now I'll show you exactly how you want to set them up. The first thing you want to do, okay, is that first autoresponder, okay? The concept is that you want to create it so that the first thing that happens is they get a thank you note and they download their free gift, like I showed you in the Coach's Console. Instant gratification, that's what people want, okay? The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to put in that link to download their gift, okay? And then, as you saw in the free gift, you give them 3 to 5 results, things that they can expect to have happen with the free gift. And then finally, you do what we say is reveal their pattern. It's their challenges, what they bump into on a regular basis, what keeps them from being successful. That's your first autoresponder. So, thank you, a download to your free gift. Tell them what they're going to experience in the free gift, and talk to them a little bit about the challenges that they're dealing with. All right, the second of the 5 most effective autoresponder templates. So here we're going to share common questions about that first tip and give additional guidance to answer them. It's very simple. So 3 common questions and your answers. So let's say we're going to use the business card concept as an example. So perhaps the series that we're talking about is the top 3 ways of mistakes people make when they use their business card. So in the first one, we handed them all 3. We gave them a write-up. I know, a white paper, or we call it a free gift, but it might just be a white paper. It might be 1 or 2 pages long, and it talks about the top 3 best practices for handling your business card, what should be on them, and all that stuff. And so they got that in the very first autoresponder. They downloaded it. They read it, hopefully. In the second autoresponder, you talk a little bit about some of the questions that people have. So perhaps the questions about business card is, well, I thought that you would hand out your business card right away and not worry about getting one in return. Common question. And then the answer is, actually, you never give a business card unless you receive one first. And the reason why? Because if you give out cards and don't get cards, what happens? You're giving the marketing of your business to someone else. And then the next thing you want to say to people is, hey, be on the lookout for the next tip in your email box, and you'll take the next tip in the next autoresponder and discuss that with them. And you want to begin to put in a PS at this time. What you want to do is invite them to the next step in your sales funnel, and that would be to schedule a sample session with you. So you could put a link right to your calendar. And of course, in Coach's Console, there's an interactive calendar. We give you a link, and you can attach a link right into the autoresponder. It gives them access to your calendar. They log on, they can see the calendar in their time zone and select appointments that you have made available. Great. That's number 2. Number 3. Okay, so what are some common challenges that clients faced about this tip, and how can they avoid them? So perhaps the challenge is, again, talking about they meet somebody who they want to give a business card to, but they don't want to give one until they get one back, and the person doesn't have a business card. They forgot them. So be prepared. The second tip. How can you be prepared to help others when they don't have their business cards? Might be what you talk about in autoresponder number 3. You can also, within this autoresponder, share an objection or 3 or 2 or whatever to your answers. Well, somebody might say, gosh, I think it's rude that you don't give a card unless you get one. And you can again explain, not really, as long as you give them, you're prepared and you give them a way to give you their details, and then you give yours. Then, of course, the next comment is, be on the lookout for the next tip in your mailbox, getting them ready and interested for the next bit of information that's coming from you. You see, when someone signs up for a free gift, they want it. They are interested in what you have to offer because you're offering valuable information. So getting them ready to receive the next tip is not being pushy. It's just helpful, to be perfectly honest. And then, of course, you're going to invite them to schedule a sample session with you. And your calendar will be all ready, and your link will be in the autoresponder, and everything will be hunky-dory. Okay, the fourth most effective autoresponder is similar. You want to share your most powerful testimonial regarding a client integrating one of these tips. So you can ask the question, when Alice learned that she never gives up, that she continually proposes information that can be supportive for a business, she learned that she could actually win that client. By being persistent, professional, and proposing great ideas, she was able to finally land that contract. And then you ask them the question, when you've learned this in your life, what will that mean to you? How will it change your business? And then, of course, invite them again to a sample session. Remember, it takes at least 5 touches to get to a high rate of conversion. None of what we've done has been pushy or rude. Everything has been offering valuable information and an invitation. Nothing wrong with any of those things. It's got to feel good. All right, finally, the 5th. Now, some of this by now must be sounding a little familiar. Remember that connection conversation, right? Results, challenges, how you work with people. Well, the autoresponder templates are not a whole lot different. The 5th autoresponder is to share a result. After integrating the tips, you give them information about a person that had great results. Like my mom, because she used great networking tactics, didn't give up, didn't take things personally, she was able to land an amazing client. And you could use that as part of sharing what the result is. The other thing you want to be doing is reminding that individual what it's costing them not to make the change in their lives. If you keep taking things personally, and if you don't at least make 5 touches, you're going to stay where you are. And that isn't a place that you don't like. You've already told me that. So you remind them about that. And then, of course, you want to invite them to schedule a sample session with you. Okay, that's the 5 most effective autoresponders templates. I think you got the understanding around it and how simple it can be. And of course, how Coaches Console can automate all of it for you. All right, the folks are now on your list. They're receiving their 5 autoresponders. They like you. They've stayed with you. They haven't opted out. Well, now what? Now what do you do? Well, this is where the art of valuable information continues. Already you've given them valuable information in your 5 autoresponders, and they're enjoying that and they're getting value from it. Now it's time to keep them engaged, okay? It's our job as business people to stay connected with the people on our list and in our world, our potential clients, people that we can potentially help and support. So we call it the sustainable connection strategy. Michael Port calls it the keep in touch strategy. Whatever you want to call it, staying top of mind, or at least on the radar of your prospects, is our responsibility as business owners. We've talked about getting them into your funnel. Now, how do we keep them engaged? Well, it's all about the art of valuable information, or a sustainable connection strategy. What are some ways of doing it? Okay, they're simple. Cool resources. On your website, you could have cool resources that are available for people, or you might set up a way of communicating cool resources once a month. A newsletter, of course. Many people use a newsletter. My suggestion, keep it short, to the point. Make sure it's valuable information that they truly want to hear. and send it out at least once a month, preferably twice. Another one, a quote letter. I actually prefer this to a newsletter. It's so easy. All you do is take a quote that you like and put it in your newsletter. You invite people to read the quote, and then you give them a short coaching challenge around that. One of my favorite quotes is, even even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. I started from the back. The reason I love that is the Lone Ranger would go riding into all these places and white horse and blah, 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 get all this stuff done. But he always got stuck and in trouble. He always had his Indian friend, the Tonto, to help him. And that, to me, is so powerful because we all need to ask for help. So just that simple quote, the coaching challenge I could create around that would be, when was the last time you asked for help? What kind of help do you need? How do you deal with asking for help? How does it make you feel? Could be one or two of those. So a quote letter is a simple way to stay connected with the people on your list, your potential clients, and give valuable information. Another cool way of doing it is send out cards. I don't know if you're aware of those, but they're a great way of, you can send literally a handwritten card. It goes automatically, it goes through computer, then gets not hand delivered, but gets delivered through the post office. You can even put in like a Starbucks card or something for somebody's birthday. It's a great way to keep in touch. So creating a sustainable connection strategy where you're sharing valuable information. And again, all of this can be automated. So it goes out weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. You get to choose. It's all up to you. All right. Follow-up done well. There are 3 parts to it. The first, be proactive. You've got to be prepared in advance so you can meet new folks where they are and bring them into your world. The information has to be beneficial to the prospect, something valuable that they can use and be glad they've received. You can personalize it for the individual. You can do so many things when you automate all of your follow-up. Finally, it has to be expedient. The result, when it's felt quickly, they get it right away, a free gift, even before they're back to their office sometimes, builds a real sense of know, like, and trust. So when you do follow up well, you are proactive, you're giving beneficial information to your prospects, and you're doing it expediently, quickly. When you do that, follow-up networking is no longer icky. It is a way for you to truly support, connect, and communicate with your prospects. Okay, let's take a look at the actions to take. So first, if you haven't already, go back and listen to the recordings of session 1 and 2 and do the homework, okay? This all builds on each other. Create a free gift that people can opt in. A free gift doesn't have to be a book or something big. It can be a 2-page report. The top 3 things to do if you want to get a great date. I mean, you know this stuff. So create a nice free report, something that your people will love to opt into. Then create your opt-in forms for each one of your groups that you deal with. Make it special. Make it talk about the specific event that you met at, so they feel even more special and connected to you. Or if you can't do that, you can't have them sign up on the spot. That's the best, of course. You can take their business cards home and input them yourself, of course, if you've asked for permission. And finally, what I'd like you to do is check out the Coaches Console. If you follow this link, http://coachesconsole.com/easy, it's going to take you to a webinar that takes you all through the entire system. I only showed you one tiny piece of it. gives you a full picture of what the Coaches Console is, how it can work for you, how it can support you in organizing, automating, and integrating your business. It makes a huge difference in your ability to follow up and follow up well and professionally. And at the end of this, if you listen to the end, it gives you a link that gives you an amazing deal on the Coaches Console. Normally, the console, the full total Coaches Console, is $247 a month. If you go through this link that I'm giving you, coachesconsole.com/easy, it gives you $100 a month off. That's $1,200 a year less than you would normally have to spend. So instead of paying $247 a month, you would pay just $147 a month. And I also want you to know that we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you sign up for Coaches Console and you work with it for 30 days and you say, ooh, not for me, not something I like, no worries. Just tell us within that 30-day period and we will return your money. No problem. And you pay monthly, or if you choose and you like it and you want to pay annually, we'll help you save more money. So can't go wrong. So give it a shot. coachesconsole.com/easy. All right, let's do a recap of our learning together. So the first thing we learned in session 1 was all about a positive networking mindset. Choose your attitude, CYA. Then we looked at the results that networking can bring, not only clients, but speaking engagements. Perhaps you could be on a TV show. Perhaps you could be have a story written about you in a newspaper. Maybe you'd get the opportunity to write for a newspaper. So many potential results. You become an expert in your industry, and people get to know you through networking. We talked about where to find networking groups, looking up BNI, Business Networking International, or TIPS groups. There's many ways to connect with networking groups. Even the Chamber of Commerce, they usually meet once a month. So we talked about that. We talked about elevator pitch mistakes and what you want to do instead. We talked about the 6 elements of a connection conversation, how important they are, and how to do it. By now, you should have your connection conversation at least in a rough draft if you've done the homework. We talked about the 3 blunders people make while networking. The mistakes, not showing up, is one of the biggest ones. Giving away your business card instead of getting one from someone else, so allowing others to handle your marketing for you. Not good. And we told you how to be prepared and automate follow-up that works. I want to thank you for your time and for your interest in networking. As you can tell, I am absolutely passionate about it. I love networking. It has helped me build my business. It's helped Melinda build her business. And I know it can help you build yours. We are so happy that you have decided to listen to this 3-part series and join us in our revolutionary business building quest. We are here for the sole reason of Coaches Console to help coaches be successful, cash flush business owners so they can get the world coached. And we hope that you become one of those coaches that gets out there and gives your gift and gets paid handsomely for it. And we'd love you to check out the Coaches Console. So coachesconsole.com/easy and take a look and see what you think. Bye for now.